Hello viewers, I'm SB and welcome back to Total War Warhammer 2. I told you I'd bring you back in when notable things occurred, things worth noting, and it has happened. The Doomstar has appeared. For real, this guy has the best Requiem of all time. Now this is not what I brought us in for. What I brought us in for is, it is time, finally, to bring an end to the Blessed Dread. Gotten Celestra in position here. We're going to go ahead and fight this out, despite the fact that this is going to be a battle that is very similar to previous battles, because it is the final battle of the Blessed Dread, and I think as a foe, they have earned an on-camera death. Also, it's just fun to pilot Celestra in battle, so let's get this thing over with. They took back Chupiatl. They've been trying to rebuild the garrison, but something tells me they will not be successful. So hopefully, once we are done with this, the battle against Skrulk will get a little bit simpler. We're no longer going to be pressed from quite as many sides, although I suppose there is still the issue of the Khemri sailing over every 10 turns or so and trying to mess with me. What I really need to do is get an army that just sits in the Star Tower, right, and holds down against attacks from the east. But for the moment, we don't have an army to spare. Once the Skrulk situation is cleaned up a little bit, we can take one of the armies that was pushing south, the non-legendary one, and have it deal with this. Huh. It's snowy here? Okay. Well, I don't think that's right, but this is the situation we find ourselves in. This is a little awkward for us. We're gonna have to... Yeah, we're gonna have to move up immediately after the battle starts because this terrain is real bad. Okay, so we could put our gunners up on this ridge. It's a little thin for them. And the amount that we'd have to move up is pretty significant, but like look at the crest here. We won't be able to shoot at all. Yeah, I kind of want to take us back to the ridge. Like, what does this look like? So here... Honestly, we can only shoot people once they reach about here. This is going to give us very little time to react. Well, this nonsensical change of terrain, where we are... We've battled at Chupiatl before. It did not look like this before, right? I'm pretty sure. It's very strange. Alright, I guess the best thing to do is going to be just start right at the very front, which it will not let me do for some reason. What's going on here? Start right at the very front, and just move forward as the battle begins. So we don't have to move forward that much. I just have to get up onto this relatively flat bit up here. And in fact, the way the terrain is curved down on this side probably makes it better for us to fight. Better for us to be like on this side and just move forward. We are not fighting Skavens, so we don't need to worry about dudes appearing suddenly in our artillery line, and these enemies do not have any meaningful cavalry. So we don't have to worry too much about charges suddenly occurring. So we don't need to intersperse the melee with the ranged or anything. This is going to be pretty straightforward once I figure out how I want to actually put down my troops. Okay, right, I was right about that, right? They don't have any cavalry? Yeah, it's all just foot slogging. Alright. So... the non-artillery parts of this army need to roughly stay in formation, but need to move up so that the terrain is not sloping around us quite so much. This hill is still going to be a problem, but it's fine. And the artillery are already in position here. So I moved him forward when I probably didn't need to. When it probably was worse to move him forward than to leave him still. Alright, I'm going to have Robert ride out around these dudes. Oh, I guess I should fire off my cannon stuff too, right? That should be enough of a lead. And yeah, Robert's just going to go around these dudes and massacre the bolt thrower crews. Alright, gunfire started. Good enough for me. Looks like they're going to make no attempt to intercede here. Okay, they thought about it, and then they then they thought better of it. It's probably time to start summoning. We need some crabs. They're getting close a little faster than I would like. I think we're probably going to have to pull the melee through soon here. We may as well do it now. Alright, let's try to get his thing done quickly. Alright, Celostra's going to have to ride over to this side. The enemies are much denser over there. We can do this on our way over. Oh, he's in there. He doesn't seem to be getting it done very quickly, though. As always, I'm a little reluctant to engage the melee too early because we don't want to cut time for the rifles to shoot the oncoming enemies. Especially in this situation where we are below them, so we're not going to get to shoot like over our own guys at them at all. I think we probably want to turn the artillery a little bit. It seems like the theater that the artillery are firing into is under control. Let's aim this way a little bit. We should probably re-ammo the Queen Bess. Celostra just needs to... I mean, probably Celostra should go kill their lord, right? It's an easy enough thing to do. Alright, are we actually firing here? Yeah, okay, the guns are going off. The rifles will hold in melee for long enough to get the job done here. Their poor lord accidentally got cavalry charged. Feel bad for him, I do. A death by Celostra is relatively clean. She just kind of... She hits you once with the sword and you're, you know, elsewhere all of a sudden. That accidental cavalry charge, though, that's going to hurt. Alright, Robert is really not doing a good job of preventing these guys from firing their siege weapons. Alright, they finally panicked, but only because the whole army panicked. He's killing dudes as fast as he could. I think part of the problem is that the artillery crews stand a little bit more spread out than the rest of the enemies do, than most other types of enemies. And so, heroes and characters, when they attack, their attacks do area damage. Almost all of them. There's very few lords that don't do this. But it's area damage over a pretty small area. So the artillery crews are like... Robert could be hacking up the crews of 2 of the Reaper bolt throwers, but the other 2 are too far away for him to be hitting. I do believe this will be the end of the Blessed Dread. I believe they do not have another army. I think we're finally done with them. Man, how many turns ago was it that we sailed out... we sailed Celostra south for the first time, intending to kill them after they dared to stab us in the back at a moment when they perceived us to be weak. Incorrectly, by the way. I hope we're finally done with them. I hope they don't have another army secreted away somewhere. Because we did leave an empty settlement in the jungle, right, when we burned that one. So they could just resettle. A decisive victory. We occupy the gold mine. There it is. The Blessed Dread faction destroyed. It's about damn time. Alright, Larian was killed in battle. Yeah, that feels pretty good. I think one of our units of Depth Guard sustained a huge amount of damage. They're actually not going to be back at full next turn. You can see nothing else in the south has changed here, and probably it is the case that Celostra can't head down here to fight Skaven right now, because we are going to have to get rid of those Khemri eventually. Also, you really haven't missed much with the Wood Elves. When Peggy came over to Elisali to defend it against them landing on it, they spent the next turn just running away, and then they decided, oh, well, you know what, actually, we'll come sail over here, and then we'll attack this beach. So I ran her over to Angariel, which is the one village in the region that does not have walls, and I suppose we'll see what they do. Also, we're going to have a whatever. We're going to have a rebellion over here in this city that is going to be taken by Skaven next turn anyway, so that actually could not matter less. Alright, I think we'll just keep the video rolling here for a second. Let's see if the Wood Elves actually do make landfall, because we could just attack them on our next turn. Nothing terribly significant has happened anywhere else in the world, unfortunately. This is exactly why I wanted to do some editing around things here. Yep, Clark Herond is going to periodically rebel. Nothing we can do about that. Obviously, we will put the rebellion down easily. We did get Storag Core, so now we have this entire province, which means that we will be able to control public order much more effectively henceforth. But the conquering of Storag Core touched off a rebellion. Yep, Planchla Falls. We could try to fight this out. They have enough Globadiers and stuff that our deck droppers would not be able to assassinate the siege crews. And also, this just, like, extremely does not matter. I don't really care about this settlement. You can see we've taken up a slightly different tack here, although they are moving armies around in response to my slightly different tack. I decided that the settlements are clustered up a little bit more tightly on the eastern side of their empire, and so we might be able to take and hold more territory if we moved everybody east. But also, apparently, they moved what looked like 4 armies at the very least in that same direction. So we may have to reverse course on that one. A second Khemri fleet, probably that one, did become visible briefly over here. They sailed in and then sailed away afterward. And I guess they're back now? Whatever, I'll fight them too. Celostra doesn't care, she'll fight everybody. As far as I can tell, nothing of any interest has happened in the east with the Chaos Invasion. God, I wish the Chaos Invasion would end. Make my life so much easier in so many different ways. I don't know exactly what it is that the von Karsteins and the Vampire Counts are doing. Their turns always take forever, but their territory is not changing a whole lot. I was looking at the map over the last couple of turns. I think probably what's happening is that a lot of their armies are doing what we see the Wood Elf and Khemri armies doing. They're just like running back and forth and not accomplishing anything. Not even attempting to accomplish anything. We do have a Wood Elf navy. One of the smaller Wood Elf ships sailed up around the northeast of the island. I think they're going to... yeah, they're going to take Elysia here. We could try to fight this manually. Honestly, I think this balance of power bar is very wrong. Like, this garrison has no way of dealing with even a single dragon, much less 2. Forest dragons with noxious poison breath, man. Alright, that's cool. We will see some combat with the Wood Elves, because we are going to fight back after this. But honestly, I think this result is nonsense. They should have sustained way less damage here than they did. They lost like 2/3 of the total bodies in their force. That's crazy. Alright, so they've taken Elysia. That's fine. We'll get it back. And here's where... really? Apparently all Wood Elves are terrified of Peggy Rains. I will say this, though. They've separated quite a bit. I wonder if we could pick off this rear army now. Yeah, okay. My goal here was we were going to show the end of the Creeping Dread, and then we were going to fight Wood Elves on the shores of Ulthuan. But I guess they are the greatest cowards in the entire world. So... maybe this isn't going to work out exactly as I had planned. It's all right. We'll figure this out. I'm not sure if we're going to be able to chase them or not, because getting into the water on a beach... oh, Tommy Sealegs is back, very temporarily, I assume. This is too many notifications.
Admiral of the fleet.
Alright, Peggy gets a level. She has Arcane Conduit, so we don't need to redline anymore. I think I'm gonna... or, spell line, rather. I think I'm gonna blue line her from here. Her army is not cheap. we can get up to Black Flag and hopefully be able to get to work on running another army. I think that guy's in attack range. I was a little worried that getting into the sea, not via a port, was going to be too expensive in terms of movement. Oh, she can move this far because she is getting into the sea via a port at the port at Angariel. Okay. Yeah. Oh, this is Durthu. Durthu the Mighty Tree Lord. That guy is actually a real terror. I think we can get him, though, and his buddies are way too far away to punish us for it. Alright. Hey, look at that. I am getting to bring you some Wood Elf fights. I don't know what these guys are doing. Okay, that's concerning. The balance of power bar has this going terribly for us. I guess I could have looked at the composition of their troops a little bit. We'll give our plus speed banner to the Necrofex Colossus. Why does this look so bad? Durthu himself is terrifying, although also somehow he's level 10. He's been on the map for 180 turns. How is he level 10? He's heavily armored. He also has a fair amount of physical resistance. Missile resistance. I don't know, he seems good, but... They have a couple of Wildwood Rangers. These are very, very good melee infantry. Oh, when they are standing in forest, they get extra bonus versus large. That's interesting. Probably not going to be super helpful to them here. They have some archers with poison arrows. Always dangerous. They have some Wild Riders. They have a couple units of normal cavalry. They have Sisters of the Thorn. I believe these guys are awesome. Well, they're not that heavily armored. They have pretty good missile damage, though, for a cavalry unit. They're fast, and they do a lot of damage at range. Oh, and they have 40% physical resist. That's actually kind of terrifying for us. We're able to largely ignore armor with the rifles, but rifle shots do not bypass physical resistance. Celostras would. Okay, this could be a little... I'm starting to see how this could be a little difficult. They have 3 units of those, and then they got some dragons and some forest spirits. 20% ward save plus 20% physical resist and also 80 armor. Okay. That said, I do think it's still overstating their chances. We're going to get this. Also, apologies if I'm a little... still sound a little weird. I'm definitely still a little sick. Although I feel a lot better. I slept for like 11 hours and got up very, very recently. So I'm feeling a lot better than I was feeling the last couple of days, that's for sure. Alright, let's fight some forest dragons. I'm assuming that we're going to have a hard time here. So, like, one of the things that I said would be really dangerous. If enemies were to bring more good cavalry against us, we would have trouble dealing with that. The other thing that I think is really dangerous is that it's not really that hard to outshoot us. Enemies that are reliant on, like, heavily armored super elite archers aren't going to do that well against us because of the numbers issue. But, if you just bring a bunch of archers, they don't even need any, like, armor piercing or anything. Just a bunch of archers. This is a pretty good strategy. I think these guys might give us a little bit of a run here. Obviously, we want to corner up. I'm going to make sure we're doing it in a place where we have artillery range, though. Like, what if I put all of the artillery, like, right here? My biggest concern, really... Oh, we do not have artillery range. Okay. My biggest concern here, really, is that because we don't have a Queen Bess, the fact that we can't reach them from our starting zone might mean that we have to move our whole army to get things done. I don't really love that. We're gonna have to put the melee in a place where they can intercept the incoming cavalry. Honestly, maybe just like spread out as thin as possible through the gun line, ready to run forward and through. Put our lord over here on the artillery side to strengthen it a little bit, and then we have a unit of normal gunnery mob, who I guess can like form an edge here. If the cavalry charge the normal gunnery mob, I'm a lot less sad about it than if they charge the gun line. Sorry, guys. Alright. And remember, Peggy Rains is like a very accomplished spellcaster at this point. She is good at the spellcasting. They're casting something on me. Oh, Trickster's Shard. For some reason, they have used the Trickster Shard on units that literally can't cast spells. Oh, did they move forward? Oh, okay. Cool, they're walking forward into our range. But not all of them. They're trying to just run their missile cavalry forward to pick at us, I think. Well, I do not think this strategy is going to work out for them. Wow, that was a good shot. Necrofex Colossus knows what it is doing. Okay, it looks like the physical resist is not making them quite as resilient as I was afraid they might be. They are trying to use their speed against us, though. Let's see here. You guys all have at least one group of enemies you can be firing at. You should probably also be shooting at them. I don't think they're going to charge us. Although, actually, these guys might be trying to line up for a charge. But yeah, this thing where they try to come at us piecemeal. Probably the strategy of let's use my missile cavalry to pick at the opponents prior to the engagement beginning in earnest works out against a lot of forces, but I think it's going to be pretty bad against us because it means that they're presenting a pretty small number of dudes against a large volume of gunfire. Okay, you. Yes, I recognize I told you to do that, but stop doing that. Okay, they are coming at us in earnest now. Really love it if we could get these guys dead before those guys show up. Come on, break. Alright, the dragon's trying to be clever. They're all trying to move around the side of the gun lines. In theory, this dragon is in this arc. He should be getting shot at, but he's definitely not getting shot at. In fact, he's in a couple of their arcs. But we also, we have to be shooting at everybody over here as well. Let's have the Necrofex Colossus try to focus up on the dragon. A couple of direct cannon hits to a dragon does make a pretty big difference. And I'm going to have these 3 units of gunners reform facing this way a little bit. I'm going to move the sirens on this side up. My goal here is to try to make as short work of that dragon as we can. Okay, we're getting some gunfire on this one. The sirens up here is actually pretty dangerous. Alright, you 3 should have what you need to make this work. I'm just going to put these guys into melee mode. They need to be blockers. The sirens are taking a pounding from those Glade Guard. Their weapons don't actually do magical damage, but still, it would be cool if we weren't getting shot quite so much. I think I can probably fall back. My goal here was to provide a wall, but they don't have any cavalry coming in on this side anyway. There are other normal cavalry units over there. Do you have a spell that might be relevant in this moment? We do have Wind of Death, actually. We have Wind of Death, and they have a bunch of largely stationary archers. We can overcast this, right? Yeah. Yep, she has overcast. Okay. Sorry there, sirens. You have to stay put to be a distraction. Alright, show me something good. Well, that takes a minute to go off, huh? Yeah, that was pretty good. That spell is bananas. Alright, let's make sure that we are turning to fight the dragon. Probably we can pull 3 units of guns on this side as well. Move the sirens up a little bit to intercept the Treekin charge. Do Treekin do magic damage? They do. That's not great. Not a ton I could do about it, unfortunately. Oh, you know what we can do about it? I can put something in their way. That's right. We now have armies that have actual spellcasters, so that's a nice change of pace. Okay, you no longer need to be on that job. No, you actually absolutely do have to just stand here. Getting a lot of good gunfire going. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to have these ones charge the dragon, and these ones come up and take their place to protect against the Wildwood Ranger push. I'm not too worried about these rangers. They have to run through an awful lot of gunfire before they get to safety. And the Elf Lord is casting plus armor buffs on them, which is not going to help them against us. Alright. Alright, shoot that dragon. The dragon over here has received quite a bit of gunfire. Oh, it's actually dead. It didn't even get to run away. Okay, we need to finish them off. I think Durthu would be a good focus for some of you. Looks like nobody's actually shooting at the enemy archers, which is not great. Actually, you shoot the enemy archers. You should probably also shoot Durthu. In fact, should I have everybody over here shoot Durthu? We do need to burn down these wild riders. Okay, this dragon has managed to get over top of us in a way that does not really help it. I'm telling you, man, rifles. Rifles are how you beat big monsters. They don't really have a chance, I don't think. Would this be a good time to pop a little bit of invocation? Probably not, actually. I don't think we need it. I think what I might do here instead is, I guess, just wait? I guess I could put down... Here. We'll put down some Drowned Dead right here to tie up the Wild Riders. You guys can just engage right there. Okay, the dragon is out of the sky, in fact. This mortar crew needs to turn. This mortar crew could also turn. Alright, that's good enough for me for right now. I know they're not actually dead, but we gotta get to work on Durthu, because he is tearing us apart over here. Holy crap, these Sirens have, like, no chance to hold. Actually, you know what? Maybe I just ignore these Wild Riders. They're not actually retreating. They're falling back. They're going to charge us. But maybe I'd rather absorb a cavalry charge in the flank of my rifles than let Durthu free to roam into the ranged. See if we can pull these guys back. That might not be successful. They might be a little bit too embroiled. Really love to get my lord out of these damned Wild Riders, though. Actually, she's completely surrounded. Yeah, that's probably not going to work. Alright. Durthu, with his big, terrifying wood sword, is certainly doing a lot of work here, but even with all of his physical resist and everything, it's just really a lot of rifle fire. Also, the Necrofex Colossus just hit him with a cannonball, and it didn't even make him stumble. I have no idea what the trait is for defeating Durthu, by the way. Alright, they're probably going to have some feelings in a second here about their lord dying. Okay, the enemy lord is wounded. You know, Peggy Rains has become a very capable commander. Having full access to her school of magic is a big deal. And, like, Wind of Death is a crazy powerful spell. You got to see an actually pretty good version of it there. We did lose the pistols, and ordinarily I wouldn't be so upset about that, but those were rank 7. Those guys were trained. The best unit of pistoliers we've ever had, probably. I do wish that Peggy had a better melee weapon. Like, she's fine as a ranged lord, but what our army really needs is not another ranged character. Well, this is definitely not the battle that was predicted by the balance of power bar. I guess we lost almost as many people as they did. That's one way you could look at it. Probably we should go back to shore. I do not want to fight that other Wood Elf army with these injuries. And I think they probably will not be able to pursue us successfully. Because the movement cost of getting back on shore is almost all of your movement, almost all of the time.
Ours is the sea, gold for prisoners.
Okay, that was a pretty good amount of money we made there.
Navigating.
Huh. Their army was able to move away afterward, huh? Enables flaming attacks when fighting against wood elves. Boy, that's not a very good trait. Like I think all of the forest spirit type enemies have fire vulnerability, but none of the elves do, as far as I'm aware. And also, it looks like it's only doing that on Peggy, not on her whole army. So this trait is terrible. It makes you better at fighting Durthu in the future.
Certainly not.
Yeah, I'm bummed out that we didn't completely annihilate that army. But like I say, I think we gotta fall back to shore here. Alright, so we'll get our replenishment. We'll almost be whole again next turn. We could grab something to fill the slot. Honestly, it's probably just a unit of normal deckhands. We just need something in melee. And I do not think that a bloated corpse is going to be very good against the wood elves, because it'll get killed before it ever touches them. Alright, is there anything else of serious note? Oh yeah, we gotta deal with this. Oh, isn't that inconvenient? We can almost exactly not get there. Just a tiny little bit short. Alright, well, I suppose let's move up into the area around the city. How much movement do I have left when we reach here? Well, enough to go into ambush mode. Maybe we can get them to come out? No, probably not. So they're not going to have a functional garrison. It's going to be us versus this army, but this army is going to be back to full health by the time that happens. That's probably not a problem.
Standing by.
Yeah, I think we'll be okay. Cat Rains is certainly less qualified than her sister is, but I think we can handle this.
Not possible.
They have a little bit more archery stuff. They have a couple of characters. I'm not really... Waystalkers are ranged, and they hit pretty hard. Yeah, I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal. I think we got that under control. May as well take a little tour of what else is going on here. Obviously, we need to go fight some Khemri. The city is under siege, but you can still access the ports of a siege city while it is being sieged, I believe, so we can probably just sail right in. Okay, if I give them an attack order, they will try to route over the land. Move in here manually. I don't really have too much interest in holding Chupayotl right now. It's just a place that is convenient for us to have as a beachhead, but we can always just retake it whenever we need it. It looks like they are not, in fact, going to let me into the city. I wonder if they made an update. Because it definitely used to be the case that you could sail into and out of the port of a city that was under siege. Alright, well, can I just attack these guys? No, she won't get on land. Okay, that's annoying. They gotta land over here. What if I, like, go to here, tell you to attack from this angle? Nope, you just do the same thing you were doing before. Okay, well, this is annoying. She should be able to get on the beach too. Okay, there we go. I was able to get on the southern part of the beach. Doing that has eaten all of our movement, but we can select the Star Tower and then have the garrison of the Star Tower attack him with Silastra as reinforcements, which I assume will cause him to retreat. Yep. Okay, at least our city's unsieged for the moment. Up here in the north, like I said, we took Storeg Core, so we now have the Public Order Commandment on. I'm sure things will be fine after we deal with this rebellion. Storeg Core has a building that I don't actually want to have. And then we need to just upgrade the settlements and put walls up around everything. I don't always wall stuff that's interior to our empire, but all of the stuff we take in the north is going to have to be walled always, so... Is Storeg Core's wall more important than a wall around the Circle of Destruction? Probably not, right? Circle of Destruction is right up against those elves, so let's prioritize that upgrade. And here in Storeg Core, we can put up a public order building. Alright, things will be under control once we deal with this rebellion. So we have Deadly Onslaught. I guess we could finish getting melee defense. I don't think it really matters what we take on these guys anymore. So yeah, we just fall back to Clark Herond and then wipe out the rebellion next turn. I'd like to just go down to the Temple of Adaioth. because it's going to be kind of out of our way in the future. But Burke Black has been left alone to deal with this stuff because we pulled the sisters over to fight the Wood Elf invasion. So he has to play things a little bit more conservatively for the moment.
Blood kiss of the seas. The sea knows my
It's possible that we will just lose Storag Core again immediately. I don't think we don't actually see any Dark Elf armies around here. We have been tearing the Dark Elves up regularly. I guess I don't need to be too concerned about them. Okay.
Sail the world.
So Peggy's back. Down here in the south, we have some decisions to make, and they're actually kind of interesting. So we know that there's another army in Zahutek. We saw an army run into Zahutek during the Skaven turn. I do not know what the size of the Zahutek garrison is, but that army that ran in there looked like it was full. So if we advance, we're probably fighting 2.5 stacks against our 2. My suspicion is that would work out against us.
No, blame you.
Ugh, Plague Claw catapults. As much trouble as we've had with Warp Lightning cannons, I would much rather fight Warp Lightning cannons than Plague Claw catapults. Not only are they good artillery, but they completely ruin the leadership of your units. Artillery fire already hurts leadership quite badly, but this stuff is really, really painful. I wonder if we might have to fall back, play a little bit of defense, and let Silostra carve through the southern part of their empire a little bit until they move some people away. We can fall back to the Temple of Kara. Yeah, I think I'm going to do that.
What is your demand?
I think that the fight down here would not go in our favor. It's super weird, though, that they have so many armies gathered up in this tiny area. I don't know what the value of that is. They're going to really wish those armies were down south soon.
All above board. Get moving.
Oh, interesting. We're still getting positive public order from the rebellion existing. Okay, that's really cool. I don't know if the rebellion is at war with Clan Pestilence.
No.
Okay, they are. So this army's going to have to put that army down to prevent them from just feeding us public order forever, which is kind of funny. Turns out Skaven like to work against each other. Oh, we should probably pull somebody from one of these armies to put in the gunnery white. And I guess she already has Tim Fenn. So let's drop... Man, his army's pretty elite, though. We can't drop anybody bad. We'll drop a unit of Depth Guard? I mean, Tommy Sealegs is certainly not going to be worth anything on the map. Oh, Lenny Sealegs is alive and ready to do something. There's no characters in that army for me to attack.
Fleet captain reporting.
We can have Eve Hodgson run over here and assault these units and then have Lenny Sealegs trash their replenishment, but it might be better off to just have these characters come over here and try to scout this stuff out. I would love to know exactly what we're dealing with in terms of garrisons.
Onwards.
Man, moving around in the jungle sucks, though.
Captain on deck.
Oh, right, and I had Viola Drury sail out here because I realized something. We never actually installed a pirate cove in Sartosa, and at this point it's one of the most valuable ports in the entire world. So, that's a thing that I think is probably worth doing. I don't know where we're going to get the money to install the cove. We'll have to get a little bit lucky. I already spent our Curse of the Bountiful Treasure on infrastructure upgrades. Just trying to get money buildings and upgraded ports and stuff. Has not helped our income too much. Frankly, we have too many armies. That's the real problem. Alright, all of our lords are actually in the fleet structure. Alright, let's run another sequence of enemy turns here. I'm curious what the Wood Elves are going to do. I assume that secondary Khemri army is going to try to land near the first one, and then they're going to come at me together. and we will delight in destroying them. Also, there's this black arc sailing around that I do not have it in me to care about.
Strong fells empowers me. And
Alright, well, for the same reason that we have denied these offers of peace treaty in the past, we will deny this one. He knows that Silostra is about to come for him, and he is concerned. I think that's a very, very reasonable stance to take. To outline it again, in case it was not clear, if we accept peace from him, he is going to just redeclare on us soon, as has been the case at several other points during the campaign. And when he does that, it will cause the Vampire Coast to redeclare on us as well, because they're military allies. I don't really want to be at war with the Vampire Coast, not right now. So we're cowing the Vampire Coast through our superior force. You can see their balance of power bar against us is very, very bad. So as long as they're not actively fighting us, we don't have to worry about our eastern front as we move down here, or our northern front as Silostra moves forward down here. And that is the way that I want it to stay. I want the number of angles we're being approached from to be somewhat limited. Huh. That second Khemri army is just leaving? Did that first one walk down here and go into ambush mode? Because I will absolutely take an ambush battle against them. I'm not afraid of them. So hopefully this is a good sort of taste of what I have intended for the next phase of this series. I skipped over probably a turn and a half or 2 turns there where nothing interesting was happening. I was just fighting very, very samey battles in order to preserve troop movements. But as soon as something interesting starts up, I want to catch that on camera. We probably, after dealing with this Khemri army here, will go dark for another few turns while I maneuver Silostra back onto the mainland. This Wood Elf stuff is going to probably resolve this turn. Oh no, the Wood Elves saw Cat Rains. I don't imagine that's going to make much difference. I suspect they're just going to sit there in that settlement this turn, because they're not replenished all the way yet. Yep, and the Wood Elves continue to flee. I have no idea why they came over here. I don't know what their plan was. I do not think that this was it. I'm curious where that other Wood Elf army is going. Is it sailing south to fight Silostra? I can't imagine why you would intentionally go any closer to Silostra. Sadly, it looks like we are not going to have time anytime soon to fight these Regiment of Renown navies. I really do want to. Regiments of Renown are a very useful thing to have. Also, there are so many rogue factions. People just aren't wiping them out. Alright. So we're still being raided. We discovered King Sahut's ambush. What a surprise. In the Headhunter's jungle down here, there's going to be a rebellion. I don't care. We'll deal with that. Alright, let's start with Cat Rains. So Elysian now has a 5-unit garrison. These guys are going to be very, very low on health. Okay. They have 2 dragons, 1 of those units of missile cavalry, 2 normal cavalry units, a couple of Way Watchers, 1 of their Glade Lords separated out from the army in order to attack Tora Chair's garrison, which I am extremely cool with. Alright, let's go take my settlement back. I think we should have this. Once again, we are... Huh, those guys are at half health already? Certainly more than I was expecting. Well, the balance of power bar has absolutely no faith in us. To be fair, I think it was about there when we fought Durthu's army, right? Or maybe even a little bit more in Durthu's favor. And look how that battle turned out. I don't know how it thinks we're going to lose so badly. They have 4 units of traditional archers, right? 2 of them from the garrison, which are at half health. Then these 2. They have 2 units of real melee. They have their Lord and their Glade Lord, who I think are both ranged. Like, they're good melee fighters, but I think they'll both be shooting arrows. Yeah, I don't understand what the strategy would be that they could apply that would cause us to lose so badly here. But it looks like once we push these guys off, we will have repelled the entire Wood Elf invasion, so that's cool. They could have come at us with a great deal more force. 20 is pretty okay. A cat has invocation, but not much else. I might do this in an extremely similar way. My suspicion is that to the last battle we just did, I think this is probably unpathable over here. So this will provide a nice wall for us. They could flank around it, I guess. The dragon could fly. Dragons could fly over it. Maybe I don't want to be that close to it. I'm going to take up a very similar formation here. This army has fewer sirens and way more polearms, which I think is actually going to work to our benefit here. We're going to be super careful with our deck droppers because they have a lot of archers. So we have 2 units of animated hulks, which I guess I want to have the animated hulks like at the sides of the formation to help catch the cavalry charges. And then we have a couple units of bombers. I think I'm going to grab actually both the bombers and put them behind the formations generally. And then where are my... Oh, my deck droppers are way over here. I don't really know what to do with these guys. If they fly out by themselves, they're going to get dragoned real bad. So I guess they're going to hide for the moment. Alright, last time they were really eager to move their Sisters of the Thorn forward. And it seemed like the Sisters of the Thorn taking damage prompted the rest of them to start moving in. So I am all down with just letting them do the thing they want to do here. Why am I not allowed to... Huh. Weird. I can't get them to drag out into a completely straight line. There we go. Huh. I just want to re-angle a little bit so that we have a better shot on the incoming here. When they take up their final positions... Yeah, it's a pretty good arc. Oh, sneaky Way Watchers. I forgot that they have archers who have stealth. Also, archers who have a slightly longer range than my gun line. That's very annoying. 213 range. Jesus Christ. Okay, well. I mean, we have a solution. Unfortunately, we're not great at walking, but we can certainly shamble forward a little bit. This is probably okay. I probably have to reform my gun line a little bit anyway, with them having started so far in that direction. Let's have you lot just kind of walk up into firing range. And you guys are going to form a little bit, having them move here, form like a little bit of a concave with them. I guess the melee have to also move up, ready to receive charges from the cavalry. Kind of forward. Okay. And I mean, while they're doing this, we get to be firing mortars at them, so it's not the end of the world that this strategy is working the way it is. Alright guys, feel free to shoot your guns now. This will be a good time for the shooting to begin. Why are we not... They're in range. Yeah, they're like very in range. Why are we not shooting the enemies? Alright, you have to turn. That's a legitimate problem. But like, these guys do not. These guys should just be firing. The gunnery mobs, or the bomber mobs, ran further forward than I ideally would have ordered them to. We'll have 2 units. Take on the Sisters of the Thorn. In guard mode. Not chase. I guess I have to manually order all these gunners to fire? I shouldn't have to, but apparently I do. You can start in on their lord. Just kind of get over here. And I guess this would probably be a good time to begin invoking. They didn't even really move forward. They shifted to the side slightly. Alright. Start breaking them down. Seeing a lot of mortar fire on that character. Can we please... As these guys are not in guard mode either. Okay, well my gunners are kind of shooting now. Only kind of, though. Alright, this is going to be a pain in the ass, I can see. Because they're going to be able to back up, and then their dudes are going to come in, and then they're going to be able to reestablish from maximum range. Yeah, it's a concern for sure. Let's have everybody over here. Real quick, just try to bring that guy down. It'd be cool if he was dead before the rest of the fight occurred. Do not chase. You need to move forward a little bit, but do not chase.
They shall fall!
Gunfire sounds are very different than they usually are. Not sure what's going on with that. Okay. You lot should probably back up. The animated hulks are going to be way better at absorbing a cavalry charge than than the bombardiers are. Apparently I'm going to have to like do a lot of manual targeting here because it seems like my units don't have a lot of respect for their own well-being. Okay, I don't know if we have time to finish off that lord. The dragon is upon us and probably must be dragoned. Have you turn around. You can fire while moving. Probably she will still get to shoot the dragon. But yeah, we got to get it on the dragon. I really want these deck droppers to have a role here. It's hard to imagine what that might be, though. Hey, guys. Trying to get their flank on over here. We got to be wary of it, and we also have to move these units up into actual defensive positions. I have the bombardiers turn around now. So it looks like the dragon is either trying to flank the actual ranged or is planning to go after the bats. I was hoping to use the bats on the melee over here, but I'm going to run the bats this way. If they really do have the dragon's attention and we can just keep it chasing for a minute, that would actually be really totally fine. Okay. I think the mortars are still doing some fine work. Probably need to move these deckhands up. I'm going to try not to directly block the enemy approach too much. So try to keep the blocks sort of fat, not spread out too much. So I still want to be able to turn and fire on the enemies, potentially. Alright, we are receiving the charge here. That's good. The dragon's just about dead. The other dragon is also suffering. Alright, rifles. Rifles are a good way of killing dragons. Bombardiers can throw bombs directly over melee troops, so let's have them do some of that. Have them engage in a little bit of that. You guys, your job is mostly just to keep these enemies off of everybody else. Now that they don't have their dragons anymore, the bombardier bats are a lot more useful. What are the speed of these guys? How fast do these move? 90? Versus 91 of the Wild Riders. I'm wondering if the thing to do is maybe to just send them after the Wild Riders. We don't want to move them into a position where they're going to be vulnerable to fire from the Deepwood Scouts, right? I have to be pretty wary about that. I think I still want the mortars focused on the Way Watchers, even though the Way Watchers are considerably weakened, because they really are the most dangerous thing on the field here. No, I'm just going to have the bats turn and start throwing bombs down into the melee. I think that's probably the smart play. Alright, now, the rifles over here need a new focus. Looks to me like you guys could maybe shoot those guys? It's not super clear. Maybe we should have everybody over here focus on the Wildwood Riders. They're large enough that we should be able to see them. Yeah, I think we'll be able to see them. Just get rid of them as quickly as we can.
Fleet Admiral!
Invocate right there. Invocate? Invoke. I want to invoke right there. Come on, either kill that dragon or break it permanently. I have to retarget these guys. They have other stuff they need to do, but I'm annoyed by that. The dragon's gonna get away. Alright, you have to start threatening their fat group of troops over here, I think. Let's see, those guys will hold for another minute or two. And focus all of the bombs and stuff on these Wildwood Rangers, who are definitely better melee fighters than anything in my army. Bombs are getting work done. It looks like the dragon is actually going to flee all the way off the map. Okay. Because it's not permanently broken, it could theoretically recover enough to turn around and fight us, but it looks like it looks like it's all the way out there. Alright, those guys are pretty broken up. Now we need to figure out what is next for these rifles. I think probably the smart thing to do with this rifle line now, shooting into their range is going to be tricky given the way that everybody's sort of arrayed in front of us. So I wonder if the smart thing to do here might be to just like form a new gun line. Right now, like our troops are failing badly. We are going to see the melee line breach entirely shortly. I want to be ready for that. This gives plus 26 melee attack. I do not have the ability to overcast it. I kind of think I want to just save all my wins for... what do you call it? Save all my wins for Invocation. Yeah, you can just start working archers over, hopefully. Actually, maybe you should be trying to kill these cavalry. She did participate in the breaking of those archers, though. Alright, so when the melee break in a second, they will immediately have a roar of gunfire. Nope, stop. Stop shooting my bats. I see that. I see you shooting my bats. Let's get over here. And then fight the Wild Riders from up here. Okay, the mortars are... Probably some of them should be shooting down here. Okay, looks like we broke them, actually. Alright, and because they are sitting in that garrison, they are done for. As they disengage, all of a sudden, the gunfire. Yeah, that was not a close victory. We did suffer, I guess, we did suffer more losses than they did. But also, I showed up with 5 times as many troops, so... One of those dragons didn't get to do anything at all. The big monster strategy seems tough to execute well, because, like, not everybody has rifles, obviously. But almost everybody has ranged. I think it's just the vampire counts who couldn't, like, put together a mass of archers. I guess some factions don't have range that have good anti-armor. Like, the high elven archers probably do not fight dragons all that well. But it seems like in a huge percentage of cases, you're gonna move your monster forward, and it's just gonna get cut to pieces by the enemy range before it can do anything. You probably need to have some kind of cavalry strategy. Like, a little bit of cavalry probably makes monsters a lot safer. You just keep your monster in reserve until your cavalry is in the enemy archers.
Blood and plunder.
Maybe.
I'll see it burn.
Alright, I would like my city back, please. Alright, we have resecured the province. We have killed many wood elves. You know, dark elves and high elves are the same species. They're not, like, actually different types of beings. I don't know if that's the case with the wood elves, too. I want to put her on a Promethean, or is there something else we want more? I think let's get her a mount. Okay, she didn't even lose a unit there, so that's pretty, this whole area is pretty under control. After this, given that we don't see another wood elf in the water, I think she probably moves west, and she can start picking off undefended settlements over here. She can also deal with this. There's been a rogue army, the Black Spider Tribe, in our territory at war with us for quite a while at this point. They haven't moved at all. If they tried to do stuff, I would probably have to like raise dead an army over there and do something, but it looks like they're content to just sit around and get nothing accomplished. Alright, so, Peggy. Well, we could pursue the Wood Elves. I'm a little nervous about having her leave Ulthuan right away because of the fact that that one Wood Elf Navy could just turn around. What she should do, probably, is come and deal with this. Just get rid of Bjark Black Raider before he gets it in his head to attack us.
Admiral of the fleet.
These guys, I really don't know what to do with them. Alright, you to go on account. I'd really like to have somebody with Lightning Strike down here. It's going to make it a lot easier to deal with the superior numbers of Skaven. And then I kind of think we're just chilling out. I don't know that it benefits us much to do, like, anything. We'll play defense, we'll feel out what their situation is over here. Once we have vision of this stuff, we can maybe make a plan. Attempt to come at them where they are weak, once we have some idea where that is. So, Cat Rogers, you are also just sitting still.
On deck. Course plotted.
Like I said, I don't really have a strong plan for her. She could dig for treasure. Do we have any treasure maps in this area? That's not too far away. That would actually be a useful thing for her to do. Yeah, alright. She'll go dig for treasure in that location. It was up here somewhere? Probably that skull. There's a lot of skulls around here. And she'll be feeding us valuable intel about what else is going on in the world. And yeah, this is not a big deal. So we're ending the turn with almost 5,000 gold. That probably should be building upgrades of some type. Oh, I didn't actually play out Silostra or Burke's turns. Right, I jumped right to Ulthuan. Well, let's slay them. At this point, you guys know roughly what this looks like. There's no danger to Silostra's army. Maybe I'm wrong about that. The Sirens took a huge amount of damage. Way more damage than we would have taken if we had fought that manually. Alright. Well, my plan was to get back in the water and head to Chupiatl, but I think maybe given the auto-resolve penalty there, we are just going to have to sit for a turn. Yeah, should have played it manually. We would have taken no damage at all. So Will the Treacherous has literally every yellow line skill. He has every yellow skill in the whole thing here. I suppose there's a version of this where he might want to try to wound people. Block army. Block army could be useful. Yeah, just prevent people from getting away. He could jump out of our army to weaken enemy armies. I don't know. These are both pretty bad. Yeah, the odds that we do either of these are basically 0. If I was going to do one... Silostra's so fast. Yeah, let's do this. And for now, she's just going to chill here. Obviously, like, we lose Chupiatl, then we take Chupiatl back yet again. It's not a big deal. So, 6,600 gold. Oh, we still have Burke as well. Let's do Burke's turn. Burke needs to put down this vampire rebellion. So this is like a proper vampire counts army. The downside for the vampire counts is that they have no ranged whatsoever. So the guns just like shred them. Somebody gets Frenzy. Well, it should be somebody who fights in melee. So I guess you get Frenzy. Man has a lot of banners. Wow, we took like no damage at all there. That actually does look like what I would have expected our outcome to be.
Lies outside of the veil.
Alright, Werner Skellen. Skellen's a little bit on the nose for a for an undead's last name, I think. Alright, we just need to pick something up here. So I don't think Aspect of the Dread Knight is a very good spell. I guess it gives leadership. We don't really need to reduce enemy armor, but reducing enemy weapon damage is certainly interesting. A lot of my good units already cause terror. Yeah, let's take Soulblight. I don't know for sure that we'll ever cast it. Probably going to save a lot of our Winds of Magic for Spirit Leech and also these other terrifying damage spells. So we're going to get 4 more points, I think. 36, 37, 38, 39, 40. Okay, so we're going to get 5 more points, which is enough to take Evasion and then 4 points in this box and not quite get Arcane Conduit. If I had done the math a little bit better, we could have saved a point on one of these red line skills and gotten Arcane Conduit. That would definitely have been the right move. That's a shame. Ah, well.
This isn't the god's victory. It's mine.
So his move is just to go south and start rooting out this stuff. If the Dark Elves push from the north and we start losing things in the north, so be it. But I really want to clear out all of this garbage. And the sisters will be by soon to help him with that. So I wanna end the turn on my side of the province line, or like right on the road. I will go into here. Hey, yeah, this is a thing we might want to spend some of our gold on. Who needs upgrades? See, he has the gunnery building. He can recruit his own mortars. He can recruit his own sirens, and he has Necrofex Colossi. So if we were gonna pick up a building for him, it would be like campaign movement, or maybe upkeep reduction. I know I've been pretty down on the upkeep reduction building so far. I do wish it gave you a larger amount of reduction per build point, but you know what?
The seas are mine.
A 5% upkeep reduction in his army is like 250 gold per turn, and it only costs 500 gold to build this. So as tight on money as we are, I think I'm going to start doing that thing. Also, it does cause extra vampire corruption in his region, which will help us get these southern areas under control more easily. Okay, I think we are actually done here. Let's run a sequence of enemy turns and then end the episode. And like I said, I will probably skip forward a little bit now that the invasion of the Dark Elves or the invasion of the Wood Elves and Khemri is halted. Because we're going to be fighting a lot of settlements down here that don't have any armies defending them. So all of the Dark Elves are building their armies in the north. Oh. Okay. Maybe that's not exactly true. Maybe there is one army we'll have to deal with down here. So Skrulk is going to take Chupiatl again. This is the reason I have not bothered to build any buildings in Chupiatl. Yep, and then we will take it right back. We might even be able to attack it this coming turn with Silostra. And she'll put Skrulk's army in the dumpster. Would be no danger at all. Okay, so those guys are just running to reinforce the temple. Yeah, we're going to have to drop Malekith again. And Burke's going to have to do it by himself without any massively overwhelming numbers. Traditionally, we have fought Malekith by by bringing 2 armies. What's up with the Khemri? Is that second Khemri fleet actually coming ashore? Oh, they're going to have agents running around over here. But it looks like that's about it. I think we're allowed to recruit another vampire fleet captain. I might do that and try to train them up in wounding and just have them follow Silostra around and try to wound out enemy characters. Because I could definitely see us having some character-related problems. Fortunately, we still do not see any vampire navies on the horizon. We are going to have to fight vampires. We're going to have to fight a lot of vampires. when we finally complete control of the western continents. Let's hope that we don't have to fight the vampires until we are basically ready to do so. Like, Bretonia's having a tough time. I think Norska's been having at them a bit. Alright, Wood Elves, what do you got? Wood Elf character's just gonna run around and assault the garrison of my, of everything on Ulthuan over and over again for the rest of time. Oh. Ryan is turning back around. Well, it's a good thing we're keeping Peggy Rains up there. Her sister may have to come and support her, actually, and then they can go west and fight Skaven. So many of our problems would be resolved if we just had one spare army in an area. Like, if we had one army that could just live on Ulthuan, one army that could just live in the Star Tower. And we could totally do that if we weren't fighting two fronts at once. Somebody said something to me once about fighting multi-front wars on large land masses. Can't quite remember what it was. I think the idea was that it's a bad idea. Alright. Construction cost up for settlement buildings or ship buildings. This is only 3 turns. Yeah, this doesn't matter. I think I would rather have it on fleet buildings. We can just not build fleet buildings for 3 turns. That's totally fine. Alright, so Chupiatl has been lost. Once again, we're being raided in the Headhunter's jungle. No big surprises there. Listen, we're going to lose the Headhunter's jungle. That's going to happen. And then we're going to take it back. Alright, we have physical resistance on our rotting Prometheans. We do need to get some gunnery mobs up. I really do want to try using those. Also, hey, more bonuses for our Necrofex Colossi, who, generally speaking, are very, very powerful already. Okay, well, I think this is where we're going to end it for right now. I'm going to, like I said, play ahead a little bit, and I will bring us back in as soon as things get interesting again. Thank you all so much for watching. Come back next time for, I don't know exactly what, but bloodshed. Certainly there's going to be some bloodshed. And we'll see you then.